So you pick up your phone to check one thing, just one quick message, and somehow, an hour later, you're watching a video about a cat that learned how to play the piano. Sound familiar? That lost hour isn't just wasted time, it's actively rewiring your brain for distraction, making it harder to focus on anything that actually matters. Here's what's really happening. The moment you touch that screen, your brain goes into automatic mode. Your decision making just shuts off. But there's a simple technique that can break this cycle completely. I'm going to show you the psychology behind why your phone hijacks your attention and the exact steps to take back control. Your phone isn't really a communication tool. It's actually a slot machine that fits in your pocket. And just like Vegas casinos, tech companies have spent billions figuring out exactly how to keep you pulling that lever. The secret weapon they're using against you is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's the most addictive reward system known to psychology. Now let me explain how this works. When you pull a slot machine lever, you don't know what you'll get. Maybe nothing, maybe a small win, maybe you'll win the big jackpot. That uncertainty is what creates a massive dopamine spike in your brain. Not when you win, but right before you find out. You see, your brain gets addicted to that anticipation, not the actual reward. Every time you open Instagram, TikTok, or even your email, you're pulling that same lever. Will there be a notification, a funny meme, an important message? You have no idea. That uncertainty floods your brain with dopamine, and you're hooked before you even see what's there. Now here's where it gets really sneaky. These apps, they use something called variable ratio reinforcement. Sometimes you get rewarded immediately. Sometimes it takes 3 scrolls before you find something engaging. And sometimes it might take you 20. But here's the thing. Not every video or post is going to be interesting to you, and that's completely intentional. The apps deliberately mix in content that's just okay or even boring because that uncertainty is what keeps you scrolling longer, hoping the next thing will be that jackpot. Just like that slot machine, the pattern is completely unpredictable, which makes it incredibly addictive. Lab studies showed that animals will repeat the same action thousands of times when rewards follow this unpredictable pattern. The infinite scroll feature is pure genius from an addiction standpoint. There's no natural stopping point, no end to the content. Your brain never gets that satisfaction of completion, so it just keeps seeking the next hit. Meanwhile, the algorithm is learning exactly what keeps you engaged longest, feeding you an endless stream of content designed specifically for your psychological profile. And here's the part that'll really get you. The moment your thumb touches an app icon, your prefrontal cortex starts shutting down. That's the part of your brain that handles decision making. So within seconds, you're operating on pure habit and impulse. That's why you can pick up your phone with a specific purpose and completely forget what it was. The people designing these systems aren't evil, but they are incredibly smart. Teams of neuroscientists, behavioral economists, and data scientists, they work together to make these apps as addictive as possible. They run thousands of experiments to find the perfect combination of colors, sounds, and features that keep you coming back. So here's why willpower doesn't work. You're not fighting a fair fight. You're up against some of the most sophisticated behavioral manipulation tools ever created, backed by more data about human psychology than has ever existed in history. Trying to resist through pure self-control is like watching Michael Cera step into the octagon with John Jones. You know exactly how that's going to end. Now, the solution isn't stronger willpower. It's recognizing that you need a pattern interrupt, something that breaks the automatic sequence before your brain goes into that autopilot mode. And that's exactly what this next technique does. All right, here's the rule that changes everything. The moment you pick up your phone, and I mean the exact second your hand touches it, you have a 10-second window to interrupt the automatic sequence. Miss this window and your brain basically goes offline. But if you catch it in time, you're back in control. Okay, so step 1 sounds almost too simple, but trust me on this. The second you realize you've grabbed your phone, put it face down. As long as that phone's in your hand, you're still connected to the habit loop. Step 2 is where it gets interesting. Count to 10 in your head. Then ask yourself, what was my original reason for picking this up? Most of the time, you'll realize you had no real reason at all. Your hand just moved towards your phone out of pure habit or boredom. When that happens, you can make a conscious choice about what to do next, instead of falling into the scroll trap. Look, you're not trying to eliminate phone use entirely. You're just making sure every browsing session is intentional and not automatic. Sometimes you'll count to 10 and decide you actually do want to check that message or watch a cat play the piano. That's fine. The key is that it becomes a choice instead of an automatic response. Now, try this for 24 hours and notice the difference. You'll be amazed at how often you reach for your phone without any real purpose.